Today, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee.
Give us a kiss.
A place I know about as well as my own backside.
Well, they said the weather was all right until I got here and f***ed everything up.
And I'm here to meet Kings of Leon, who want to show me their hometown.
The last time I was in the back of a truck like this, I threw up everywhere.
And help me discover how a group of good old boys raised by a Pentecostal preacher came to rock so damn hard in Nashville.
I was assumed until recently it was all about country and western because that's what how everybody thinks of it.
We were almost, in some ways, inspired to do the opposite of what was around us.
My name is Mick Rock. Some people have dubbed me the man who shot the 70s. I've photographed a lot of musicians: Queen, David Bowie, Lou Reed, Iggy Pop, Snoop Lion, Lady Gaga, Madonna. Now, I'm going on the road to visit the best music cities in the United States of America and chat with your favorite musicians. Join us for Going on the Record with Mrs. Rock's one and only son, Mick.
I'm not even sure where we're going. Where are we going? Broadway?
Yeah, we're going
does
back
that mean?
downtown Broadway. That's the main drive.
Hello. Nashville. Hello.
Yeah, you and Elvis, darling. Wow.
Absolutely.
I've been to Nashville twice before. Once to shoot Waylon Jennings and once to shoot Dolly Parton. But it seems like a lifetime ago now, and I've never had the chance to understand the city itself. I'm here to see Kings of Leon, but first I've got to get my bearings in Nashville.
My name's Mick.
Jagger?
Oh, he's shorter than me. Mick Rock is my name.
As a Londoner, I really only know Nashville as the heart of country music, and I picture it to be something like a country song. I imagine a posse of lads in cowboy boots eating barbecue and making a mess all over their overalls. But that fantasy is for another day. I've heard there's more to Nashville than the country stereotype, and I'm bound to find out why Kings of Leon have chosen to make their home here. But first, I'm making some stops through town to find the pulse of the place. I'm curious to see how much I can tell about the city's new attitude just by meeting some of the locals.
Have you heard of the Half of the McCoys?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I'm a direct descendant of the McCoys.
Oh, my fucking God. So you're basically a criminal.
Oh, yeah, completely. We work our ass off for this tiny little space.
I like the vibe in here.
It's too early to tell if the whole city has changed, but the first people I'm meeting in Nashville certainly aren't the traditional cowboy types I've always imagined.
I don't know if he's gay or straight. I don't really give a
Oh,
Couldn't tell with most of my mates anyway. What do you think?
Christmas.
Exactly. Oh, fantastic. David Bowie, Lou Reed, Freddie Mercury.
Oh, yeah.
I did all the early famous pictures.
Of course you did.
I helped drag the whole thing out of the closet, so I'm allowed to be politically incorrect.
Oh, you have to be.
Give us a kiss.
Maybe this is my kind of city after all.
Be good.
But there are still a few markers of the old guard here. And to truly understand Nashville, I've got to see everything, the new and the old. After all, some things last for a reason.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Hat Show Print. We've been in Nashville since 1879.
Yes.
We do 600 poster jobs a year.
Wow. Is this some of the old type from the 1800s too?
Yes, it is. Some of
Okay,
it's
you
even
have
older, the
everything.
shop. The shop is as fairly intact as possible.
Wow.
Really
another-
famous guy. We're doing some posters for him for
Really?
his New Year's Eve show this year. We got this plate made
Well,
here.
let me feel it.
Yeah.
I want this.
And so stuff like
Sneak
this.
in after dark and steal it.
Once we typeset the poster, we have to print the poster.
Ah.
One piece of paper at a time, one color at a time. A dingbat is a decorative element, so it's
Oh, so there really is something
it's
called
an
a
official,
dingbat.
It's an official word.
I always use the word like he's a f***ing dingbat.
Well, we
meaning
do
he's a
that too.
So what do you feel about modern technology trying to grab all the action on this, you know?
Well, you know what? People come to us for this texture, for this grain on here that's impossible to replicate digitally.
So you could do a Mick Rock poster.
We sure can.
Oh, like real big lettering,
Yeah.
and then a
You gotta read it
K.
backwards so that you can print it forwards. Everything's typeset backwards.
Give me a K.
I love it.
Give me
2
a K.
Ks.
I owe you a kiss. Not
Ooh.
a wet one and not a tongue one, but a kiss.
Hatch clearly created that iconic Nashville aesthetic.
What do you know about the Kings of Leon?
They're from this neck of the woods. We have a poster right up there.
Oh, I got to get that.
No better time to meet the men themselves. I'm stepping out of the past and into the present. I'm off to meet the Kings at Grimey's, a store that I hear still sells actual records, at a place that's apparently a favorite of Kings of Leon.
That is sexy.
They've asked me to meet them here for a look around.
Well, they said the weather was all right until I got here and f***ed everything up. Hello, darlings.
How's it going, man?
Pleasure.
Nathan.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm meeting all but Caleb, the lead singer.
He's under the weather.
Yeah.
Well, he's the lead singer. You know, lead singer's a bit fragile.
Yeah. They get sick at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
Though we're just meeting, I'm well aware of their platinum records and Grammy wins.
Who are the brothers here now? Okay. I was calling you, like, the Nashville Beach Boys.
Yeah.
3 brothers and a cousin, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yes, sir.
It's exactly the same.
And our dad was a preacher, so we weren't allowed to listen to any of this.
When we all get to heaven, when we all see Jesus.
I heard the White Album for the first time when I was 22 years old.
Wow, because that must have been a long time after it was released.
Yeah. I heard Sticky Fingers for the first time when I was 23 years old.
So how did your father, is he alive still?
He's still alive.
How does he feel about all this rock and roll devil stuff?
As long as his mortgage is paid, he doesn't really care about it too much.
Their father was an old school Pentecostal serpent handler.
I don't want to say that my kids are going to hell, you know, nothing like that, but as far as what I envisioned, it's a little different.
He was an ex-hippie turned preacher, so there's still a little bit of him that, you know, kind of
LSD.
relates to.
The mother took LSD,
definitely.
but he didn't want you to listen to the music.
Exactly.
What's that all about?
When their dad retired from preaching, the brothers packed up and moved to Nashville.
There's a lot of vinyl around that I remember us listening to right when we were first getting started.
Yeah.
Neutral Milk Hotel was a band from Athens that we used to listen to a lot. The Pixies, Surfer Rosa was huge for us.
My Morning
Didn't get a
Jacket
second.
is another great
Oh,
band.
yeah, that's a great band. Yeah. Most of the stores that trade in vinyl are closed. There aren't many of you guys around.
There have been more new record stores opening in the last 2 years than there have been in well over a decade. And most of them are doing it vinyl only. They're not even carrying CDs.
That's so cool.
Well, that's wonderful.
The irony is it's older people who still want the CD and all the kids want vinyl.
Exactly.
Don't even have raw power. Unless you've got it under the Stooges.
Yeah. It might be under Stooges.
Could be. Let's find out.
Because it is Iggy and the Stooges. Oh,
Saved.
And look, that's a Mick Rock photo on there.
Wow.
3 months after it was released, it was in the 50-cent bin. I mean, it was a complete loser.
Wow.
At the time. Now it's one of the great albums of all time.
He hasn't
Quality.
changed too much.
He's an extraordinary cat.
We did a show one time, and Iggy was backstage, and he said, "I know where you get your jeans at." I was like, "Oh, yeah, really? Where?" He said, "Same place I get mine, your girlfriend's closet." And then just walked off. I was like, that's kind of cool.
That's very Iggy.
We're going to go to
We're going to go
Adele's.
to Adele's.
Yes.
And what
we'll-
is Adele's?
It is the biggest restaurant in all of Nashville.
We got a plan together and
Oh, you put money into it too?
opened the restaurant, and it's doing great.
Let's head for Adele's.
All right.
Yeah, the first show, you're so nervous.
Our show sizes were doubling with each record.
But you still like each other after? I mean, you've been under a lot of pressure.
That's why they invented separate dressing rooms.
Turn off your goddamn camera.
We didn't all have dressing rooms. We'd be like, seriously, guys.
I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee with the resident rock stars Kings of Leon, who are taking me to one of their favorite restaurants in town, which they happen to be part owners of.
Did you guys eat much before you actually play?
I can't.
2 hour.
An hour, yeah.
I have about a 2 hour window. That way I have an hour to digest.
Nothing
and then,
worse than being too full.
Matt eats oatmeal like 5 minutes before we're walking on stage.
Get the carb energy going, you know? Great on stage.
Now, how old are you guys now?
I'm 28.
Right.
He's 30.
Well, you haven't been that debauched, I can see, and you're obviously not heavy drinkers. But they all say a little red wine,
one glass of red wine a night is great for you.
Or a little marijuana.
Well, then my heart is in great shape.
Yeah.
So Adele's, we're pulling up to it here on the left. It was an old tire garage.
This is our spot.
You guys were really young.
Yeah, I was 15.
15.
Wow. And how old were you?
17.
Jared would call my room and be like, I'm going out with a girl. Okay, I'll be back in like a little while. Like, just wanted to let you guys know. They were so young when we first started out.
Yes. You travel, you spend a lot of time in each other's pockets. But you still like each other.
But we see each other off the road as well as on the road, so there's really no getting away.
It's easier to like everybody when you're not touring.
Because you're going to wake up some mornings and just not be in the fucking mood for dealing. You say, well, can I not deal with you today?
Yeah.
It's unfortunately you have to.
I'm not saying anything to you.
Okay, then sit down and fucking
Then
shut
you
your
fucking turn off your goddamn
Sit down and shut your fucking mouth.
That's why they invented separate dressing rooms. I remember the first band we ever toured with, and I was like, what pretentious assholes. Like, why do you need your own room to... And now we get to a place, we didn't all have dressing rooms, we'd be like, seriously, guys, like, this is where I get my game face on.
You've got to entertain a lot of people.
Yeah, the first show, you're so nervous. But usually, like, it's touring an album, so it's the first time playing these new songs and stuff. So we get out there, we're nervous for the first one. I'm always so nervous for the first one. Then after that, it's just, you start to have more fun. And then by the end of it, you're kind of ready to take a break, you know?
The Kings have played all over God's green earth, selling out some of the biggest venues in the world.
Why the Kings of Leon? That's an interesting question.
Our grandfather's name, Leon.
Uh-huh.
And Kings.
Caleb came home one day and he was stoned, and we were all stoned, I'm sure, and he told me Kings of Leon.
That was
I think his explanation was like a mythical like gang. You thought about like Dad and his dad. They stole motorcycles. They used to get into fights all the time, getting knives pulled on them and stuff like that. Thinking about our dads being in kind of like a street gang and being called the Kings of Leon.
We grew up not well off. Like, you know, our dad was a traveling preacher. We didn't really always have a lot. We never starved. We always had clothes. Like, we weren't as bad off as some people are. But when we initially said Kings, we just thought that would be so funny. Like,
Because that's the last thing
people
you want.
call us Kings, and we are as far removed from royalty as you could ever be.
But how do you find living here? I mean, I was assumed until recently it was all about country and western, because that's what how everybody thinks of it.
I don't know, it was that way 15 years ago when we moved here. It was just kind of like...
Yeah,
that's why you were writing
there wasn't...
country
Yeah, that's
songs.
why we were almost, in some ways, inspired to do the opposite of what was around us.
A lot less competition for rock and roll in Nashville.
Even local bands didn't like us because we hadn't paid our dues.
Right.
Like, you just come strolling into Nashville and you move here.
You also are very young.
And we were very young, and you got these bands that have been doing band tours for 10 years, and he's 16 years old playing for more people in one night than they have the last 5 shows. Like, that's not right.
We were a big indie band in America after the first album.
Our show sizes were doubling with each record.
Wow. How does that make you guys feel? Must make you feel like you did a couple of things right? You got all the way there.
But getting there is half the battle.
Getting there is the whole battle. No, when you get there, maintaining.
Yeah. All right.
I'm ready to roll.
Caleb's off stage. The set list was thrown like a curveball. We're like, well, we're not going to sit here and just
let him ruin
smile at them and let them throw beers at us.
Kings of Leon are showing me around their stomping grounds the parts of Nashville that mean something to them personally.
I'm going to jump.
This is where it all goes down. The Grand Ole Opry is right behind us in the alleyway. this is the show. Like, you see a concert there, but you come here to see a show.
There's so many places that try to be like this, and they've opened up all over. You get real musicians up there that they know exactly what they're doing.
It's inviting, it's cozy. It's like, okay, it's like your local watering hole. No matter where you're from, you can come sit here and listen to
you can talk
these
to
guys
anybody,
play and talk to anybody.
And no one's going to give you about anything. No.
Nothing. When I get off tour, I come like we come here.
It's cool shit.
And they play on the hopes that you could be a record executive from London and be like, I f***ing love that guy. I love his sound. I want to sign that guy to a record deal. Every time they get on stage is an audition. We have a record label. We've heard bands before and be like, man, we like those guys. Let's sign those guys.
How's everybody doing on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon?
I mean, just some local musician.
Everybody in Nashville can play music better than you can.
This is someone playing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
There's clearly a wealth of undiscovered talent in Nashville. At one point, the Kings were also undiscovered until one night at this place, Three Crow Bar.
So this is the stage.
Table reserved, reserved for us.
I was sitting where you are on the drums.
Yeah.
Like,
This was the stage.
This was the
you are
stage.
sitting on the stage right now.
Tell me about the first gig.
We played 2 shows.
Yeah,
we did
2
a
shows in
record
one day.
showcase at like 6 o'clock, then came back here and played a second show like at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. That was the first time we realized that like there was a buzz about us because it was packed and I was like, holy shit.
I remember being extremely nervous. Extremely.
Well, because of the neighborhood.
No.
No,
Oh, just because of playing.
Play that
Yeah.
much. Yeah, I was so nervous.
But how did you become the lead guitar player with the f***ing Kings of f***ing Leon?
God, how
I think I put a bug in. I put a bug in their ear, and I used to.
Because
talk
you
to
wanted him in the band.
Yes, and I used to talk to him all the time on the phone.
I was pretty terrible.
Considering he was the only guitar player,
He was really good.
he was
Because
very
there was no
good 'cause no one else
competition.
could.
Acoustic, he sounded a lot like that guy that we just heard at Roberts.
Had you rehearsed a lot?
Yeah.
did a lot of rehearsing.
For
in the garage.
a year
in
and
my
a half
mom's
straight.
garage.
Okay, so you were ready to roll when the
Yeah.
time came.
Yeah.
But we only had
We had a
7
rule to never play a cover, and we only did that 10 years into the band.
when Caleb
4
was
years ago.
puking in Australia and we had to play a Joy Division song to fill the time
While he was puking.
while he was vomiting backstage. Because at that time we only had a 35, 40-minute set anyways. We're like, like Caleb's off stage. The set list was thrown like a curveball. We're like, well, we're not going to sit here and just
Let him ruin our
smile
career.
at them and let them throw beers at us. Like, that. So
Which they would.
they wouldn't.
Which they would.
So we started playing a Joy Division song. That's probably the first thing we ever played that wasn't a Kings Will Beyond song. The culture of Nashville has grown so much since when we played here.
A lot of people would maybe not like the fact that their hometown was growing and growing and growing. But I feel like with Nashville, it's different.
I'm not scared of growth in Nashville because with growth brings new bands,
Right.
restaurants. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Like, if you live in a cool town and the word's out, and the word is out about Nashville now,
Yep.
so there's no stopping it, so why would you
Fight
want to
it.
hinder the progress? Like, it's gonna happen no matter what. There's a guy rollerblading.
And it's awesome. White sweater.
When's the last time you saw rollerblading? 10 years ago, they would have shot him.
I think Nashville now is more than ever truly music city.
I'm surprised by all that Nashville has to offer. It's hardly the homogenized twang I expected. I'm here in the town that country built, listening to one of the biggest rock bands in the world play a chopped and screwed version of a song by Joy Division, the British pioneers of post-punk. It's certainly bizarre, but maybe that's the point. I do appreciate a town that lets you fit in no matter your persuasion. As long as you can tap your foot to the music, you've got a home here.
There's no gripping of buttocks.
Here we are, rocking out in Oklahoma.
I'm here in Oklahoma City to really romp with the Flaming Lips, the band that has defined the modern psychedelic rock sound.
It's going to be a bit of a lark today, I can guarantee you that.
Santa Claus is from the North Pole. The Beatles are from Liverpool, and
the Flaming Lips.
The Flaming Lips are from Oklahoma City.
Mick rock has never been this close to an actual basketball in his life.
I'm just glad you didn't throw your shoulder out.
This could be called the Fun Factory, really, couldn't it?
Right, but that seems a little square. That seems like we're gonna have pizza and cheese sandwiches, you know.
Wash your fat lost the sickle.